Yeah, hello and welcome back to the grind. Here I am. Now this week I got the TR7. It's not in here, it's in the other shop. Anyhow, but this is the motor, it's upside down. I got the crankshaft out of it. The top end had some damage on one of the lifters. I hadn't tried taking the head off it yet. I figured I'd take a look underneath here, see what I could do, but I have to turn it over next week and see if I can get the head off. The heads on these cars are notoriously hard to get off, so that'll be a challenge for next week. We'll just see what happens. And so I brought it in and brought the car over here, pushed it in, and was able to, fabricated a lift to get the motor out, pulled the motor out of it, and not very gracefully, along with the transmission and bell housing. Clutch and pressure plate seem to be okay, and the throw-out bearing on the clutch is great. The motor needs some help. Now, if I had of, if I wish I could have, I wish I had of taken apart the head, or just taken the camshaft out and cleaned off those lifters, it might have made it, but you never know. So anyway, that's how it is now, and we'll get it apart, the rest of it apart next week. Stick around, you'll see everything I got apart and how I did it. And, please enjoy it. See you later. Yeah, here we are. Time to start another week of stuff. This thing here, the 924, I'm waiting for a master cylinder for the brake, and I finally got it, ordered it from eBay. eBay takes an awful long time to deliver. Like, it's not, certainly isn't like Amazon. Anyhow, it'll be here on the 27th of May, and today is the 20th, I think. Yeah, 20. Oh, it's the 21st today, so another 6 days to go. So what I think I'll do is I'll pull this out, I'll put it in the other shop, and I think I'll bring the TR7 in here. I did have the Volkswagen van. I started it up and moved it over here, but I think I'll just put that back and or put it over here somewhere, and we'll get to it eventually. No big rush on this thing, no big rush on anything, I guess, if you want to really look at it that way. So I'll pull this out, open up the doors, and I'll see if I can get the TR7 pushed into here. That'll be all right. See what happens. Anyhow, give it a go. Here now, I moved the Volkswagen van into here. That's a good spot for it to sit for a while. Who knows how long. And I've got the big door open. Put in the TR7. I'll pull that out, push that out. Let's see if this thing here will start. Being at 924. Let's see what happens with it, if anything. See? Oh boy, oh boy. Down a long way, and this one is way up high. Need a ladder to get into the Volkswagen van. This one here, you don't need a ladder. That starts up pretty quick and easy. I'll let it warm up before I try moving it. Doesn't look like anything was leaking, so I guess we're okay. Now, that can warm up, and I'll go out here and move the, see if I can move this thing here. This thing here being the 924, or the, what do you call this thing? It's a TR7. I'll just put you in the vise here. There is a vise. Everybody has a vise. I have a vise. Okay. Yeah, that's far enough for starters till I move the TR924 out of there. I'll just put the 924 over there somewhere and then see if I can start pushing this one towards there, and I'll likely have to push it in with the tractor, which is okay. You can see my body work here is pretty poor, but oh well. Well, not bad for a beginner. As I go along, I get better at it. Like the 924 is better than this, and the Volkswagen van's a bit better than this. But you know, maybe I'll redo this again one day, and that'll be way down the road sometime. I'll redo it and make it look a little bit better too. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I'll pull this out a bit further, and then I'll just take the hose to it for a bit. Perhaps I'll let that run and warm up a bit more, and then I'll shut it off. Yeah, there it is, washed off a little bit anyhow. Looks a little bit cleaner, doesn't it? Less dingy anyhow. I didn't go too crazy up here with the hose because I didn't want to get too much water on the inside. And there's not much in between the inside and the outside in that car. Now I'll see if I can pull it back with the tractor and then push it forward into the shop here somehow. Might need some help for that. Yeah, I forgot all about you guys. Maybe I'll just put it up here on the device here. Let's see, you can watch. I've got a chain a chain holding a rubber tire. Rubber. All tires are rubber. I got a chain holding a tire on the front of the bucket and just pushing it in, you know, gently. Yeah, so I thought it might, you know, take off after it came over the little bump there, but that's all right. We'll just push it back to the normal position or central position. There we go. Use your knee to push it, and it works all right. Somewhere around there. Then I'll lift it up and, well, first thing I'll get the hood off, which I do know how to do that. I know things fairly well in this car. I'll get the hood off, then I'm going to pull I'll pull the motor, and likely they're awfully hard to get the head off of these things. So what I might do is just turn the whole thing upside down and take out all the underneath bits, and then put something in there to pound from the bottom up. I don't know if that'll work or not, but we'll give it a try. Anyway, that's you know, 4 bolts plus this thing gets the hood off, and then start tearing it apart. Well, my wiring is still good. These are all, like, I made these wiring connections, waterproof things, and whether they're really any good or not. And like, it's got a new brake master cylinder in this car. Too bad I don't have one of them for the other car. That's kind of, I guess that's the way it is. That's all right. Anyhow, I'll carry on. Yeah, there, that's all off now, or the hood's off, right? I took it and put it in the other shop. Anyhow, now I think this battery here came with the car, so it likely doesn't owe me anything anyhow. And it seems to be one dead cell on it. It only gets up to 10.2 volts instead of 12. So I'll pull the battery and start taking apart stuff to get the motor pulled. I'll have to likely build a little gantry here to, like here, I've got that going across there, right? You see that? Yeah, there's oh, there, looking wrong. Going across there, and then I put this thing here on it. So if I build another pole like that going across there, and then put a cross piece here, then that'll make it so I can pull the motor out with my handy dandy lever chain hoist. Anyway, I'll get to it. I'll show you as I get along. Yeah, so I've been reading the book. I've got it on the computer over there. Don't know where I thought I had a paper copy. But can't find it. Anyway, got to, I have to, what's next here? Drain the radiator first. Then get just the lower part of that manifold off of there, right? Then this clamp here has to come out of the way. Unhook those hoses for the heater back there, the hoses for the heater back there. Unhook the choke cable and the throttle cable and things like that. Unhook the wires going from this to the motor. Unhook there's a ground strap somewhere down there. And I think I'll just pull the transmission and everything out all at the same time, because I think it's just a bit easier than trying to take the bell housing apart in there. So that'll be what I do. Anyway, then I'll have to figure out, because it says in the book, it says to lift the back end of the car up so that, and the front end down, and then sort of pull the motor up that way. But I don't have a motor hoist, so I'll have to figure out something. We'll figure it out. Yeah, there. That makes a mess. Pull the, it says in the book, take the lower radiator hose off to, to drain. Thought I was done making a mess. Apparently not. There. Oh, there. That's out of it now. So I'll put this away. That's good antifreeze. I'll put that away and I won't let the dog drink it, and I'll clean up all my stuff here. Yeah, so the UPS guy showed up here, and this is one of these Alvivor, what do you call that thing for cutting metal? It's a metal shear, and boy, does it ever work. Like, watch, just it sound like just like that. There's your piece of metal out the side. Now that sure does that, and that's 16 gauge or 18 gauge, right? 18 gauge. So I think it'll go 16 gauge, no trouble. But it says it'll do up to a 1/4 inch, but that's pretty, I can't imagine, like a pretty heavy duty to do a 1/4 inch. It'd have to be heavier than I am to make it happen. Anyway, there you go. It seems to work pretty good. So I'll just put that in my tools to be used category, and it'll just, like, I could get another stump and put it on a stump, and that'd hold it pretty steady, but this thing here holds it pretty steady, and it doesn't take an awful lot of effort to do the cut. So there you go. It'll even do circles if you want, I'm sure, if you're careful about it, like a little bit of practice, eh? Okay, yeah, where am I at? So all the radiator hoses are off. Put them in the trunk. Good spot for them. I took the fuel lines off and blocked off the main line here. So next I'll get this radiator out, which I think is just these bolts, these nuts here. You loosen off these nuts and that should come out. And then I think it's just held on by pressure at the bottom. So I'll let you know. Yeah, radiator's out. That'll give me an opportunity to clean up some of that stuff in there too, and get it looked after properly, because it was never cleaned up properly when I had it. I'd never had it apart before. But this thing here, see that? That'll take some soldering, I guess, because it doesn't, you can't weld on that. Not really sure. Yeah, it's all metal, so hopefully I'll be able to tin that up and solder it. We'll just see. See what happens. Yeah, so it's slowly coming apart. I took the fan off, put it in the back. Just 4 bolts hold that on. This is the wiring for the distributor, and it just comes off. There's a hose here that's going around a wire there. Maybe I can just get that on the other side, right? Yeah, and that's solved. That can come off with the car. I disconnected the battery ground terminals down there. There's two of them. One goes to the battery and the other one is the one that goes to the frame or the body. And now, what else? Took all the fuel hoses off. I think I mentioned that before. I think I'm ready to go. Oh yeah, now I took off this latch thing here and just 4 bolts hold it. And then I'll take these hoses. There's a hose here and a hose underneath that have to be disconnected, one side or the other or both. So I might as well just get that done. Yeah, I was having trouble getting this hose off of here, so I figured I might as well just take the carburetors off. And all the stuff I'm taking off and just putting it in the trunk. They're fine because I rebuilt them before. And I think that this is the intake, and that's like the air vent there. And I think that thing there was plugged and causing it to push pressure into the carburetor. Anyway, I'll work on that some other time. That's as far, like that's something that happened after the car had been gone or the motor had been gone. Anyway, so this hose comes off and that's all the stuff up above. And then I'm still deciding whether to take the transmission out with the motor or not. And now I'm kind of into, like, you can reach all the bolts on the bell housing pretty easily here. So I might just split it at the bell housing and pull it that way, because nothing wrong with the transmission as far as I can tell, but I wasn't going to do anything to the transmission anyhow. Get the motor going, then worry about the transmission. One component at a time, okay? Anyway, more to come. Yeah, so I think I'm nearly ready to start unbolting stuff. And I think I can get it off of the bell housing and just lift it up a bit and pull it forward, and that would work. But now I think this is where you hook one chain too, and then you hook another chain over there on that side right down there. But I have to get a thing to lift it with. I was thinking about all sorts of different ways, just using the lift, push the car back, use the lift to go up, but that wouldn't give me very much flexibility. So I think the best thing is, see that I've got that board going across there that I built, and I'll put another one of those on this side over here, and then run one across this way, and then I'll make it so that it's sort of, I can move it back and forth if I want to. So anyway, I'll get busy with that, because that'll be next coming up. That'll be sort of more tomorrow too. Oops. The long beam built, 139 inches, needs to go from the top of that to that wall over there. Same as that one over there. So I'll build the beam to go across tomorrow and then get them in there. So that's all for today. I'll see you later. Yeah, installing the boards for the lift for the motor. Anyway, there's the plank, or like I made a 2x6 twice, and just about 12 feet long, not 144 inches, 139 inches. So, and then I've got I don't know if you can see up in behind there, there's a receptacle for it to sit into, and I got it on the lift here so I don't have to fight with it so hard. And I'll see if I can get it into that spot up there, and then I'll see if I can get it into on top of that up there. See what happens. Yeah, there. Can you see that? Right up there. There's the board goes across, then that light's underneath it, then it goes across over there too, and connects into the wall. Now when I measure twice and cut 5 times, right? So I measured twice and got that one about 4 inches too high. So it'll be 4 inches higher on that side than that side, so I'll just put a spacer on that side. When I make the beam, I'll make a beam to go from here across to there, and then then I can put this chain and everything on it and that'll be good. Okay, working on the second beam. Yeah, there, it's all up. And the hoist is about the middle here. I can move the hoist backwards that way and this way, but I can't move it this way. So I might in the future put another one of these things up and put them, space them apart and put a little bit of a gantry on there. Is it a gantry? I don't know if it's a gantry. So you move back and forth anyhow. Anyway, that'll make it fixed that way instead of, oh well. Here I'm getting up to the top. There's the chain hoist, right? 5,000 pounds or something. So that's the board there where it comes together. I got a couple of braces and the same over there. I just have one brace on that side because I couldn't reach around the other side. That looks a bit sketchy over there, but it's pretty solid, so I'll be all right. The where they hook into the walls over there, you can see it's, yeah, it's pretty good over there. And over there, I got a little pocket for it to go into. So that should be good, we hope. Anyway, let me down. I don't like ladders, but doesn't matter if I like ladders or not. Sometimes you have to climb them, right? So I'll put the ladder away and slide the car in and just see if I got it close to right. Yeah, so there's the motor, there's the hoist, so that should work out all right. When I go to lift the motor out, I'll put the wheels up on a set of dollies so I can push the car back and forth and this way, and that'll make things work easier, I hope. Anyway, that's all for today. That's the new hoist in position. Okay, see you later. Yeah, here I am, back at it on the TR7. What was going on there? Don't know what's going on there. Anyway, and so maybe I gotta do that there, do that. There you go. Don't know what sort of reflection that was. Anyway, Triumph TR7. So I've got it up in the air, and maybe you figured that out already, eh? Likely you figured that out already. So now radiators out of it, and our carbureting system's off of it. The hoist is sitting there waiting. I'm going to take apart all the stuff. I'm going to leave the bell housing and transmission in the car. So I'll put a strap underneath this part here to hold it from falling. But I have to lift the whole thing up a little bit to get the motor mounts loose. But that's one here and one right underneath here. You can't really see it in there very well. Right sort of there. Anyhow, I'll get them loosened off. They're new motor mounts. I put them in when I was doing the car. So the bolts around the bell housing are all fairly, accessible. So I'll get the ones I can from the bottom right now and take them out. Then I'll put a strap underneath the bell housing. I'll pull the slave cylinder for the clutch. I'll just pull that off of there. Pull the starter out. And anything else that needs to come away. And exhaust. I'll take the exhaust off right there where it's 3 bolts hold this on. I'll let that just hang around. 1 bolt holding it here. Then this thing, you can see this thing here. This is a cable that keeps the motor from pulling ahead when you hit the gas. Keeps the motor from jumping ahead. Anyway, I'll show you how I get along. Yeah, there I've got all the bolts. Where am I here? Got all the bolts around the bell housing off. Then some of them down here. Wait till like down in there. There's one way over there where the light is pointing, and there's one there with a nut. This one has a nut. This one has a nut. That's a bolt over there that goes in. That was the hardest one to get out, but I think they're all they're not hard to get out, except that difficult to reach to, right? Anyhow, I think I have them all out. I'm going to go down underneath and take one more bolt off there's a bolt right in behind here in the motor mount. I don't know, can you see that? Bolt right there. I took the nut off that, so that should slide that way. half an inch. And then there's one more bolt on the motor mount down below. There's a, I'll show you when I get it out, but there's a cradle, like the motor mount on a cradle. And so I'm just unbolting the cradle so it'll come off the car that way. Anyway, yeah, the cradle will stay with the car and the motor will come up, and it's held by 4 bolts on the oil pan. Yeah, I've got my chain hooked up and everything like that, and I've put some tension on it, but the this is made to come straight up, right? And I can't get the what do you call that, the bell housing to split, and I don't want to start banging and pounding on it, so that will just break something, and that would be a sad day. So what I'll do is I'll unhook this thing, lift it up, and put a couple of bolts up here onto the bell housing again, and pull the whole thing out with the transmission and everything. Well, I tried, but nah, no need to break stuff. Yeah, so that's the rear transmission mount. This is the cradle for it. So I'm taking the cradle off, and this thing here is the restraining thing that goes into the other end, into the motor part, so to keep it from sliding forward. Now, what will I do here? So that frees up that kind of stuff there, but I still have to get the gear shift off of it. Maybe I should have done that first, eh? Not sure how that comes off. I think maybe just those bolts, right? Who knows? A couple of bolts there. I'll just see. Get that popped off there somehow or other. Anyhow, might have to come down from the top down for that. And then I think again, everything's pretty clear. So I should put a couple of bolts down here before I forget. I'll do that right now because I had forgotten. Now this is the gear shift linkage, and I think that just, yeah, slides right out of there, right? Maybe. If I'm lucky. Maybe not. I'll just, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that can stay up there. Doesn't get in the way. That's the linkage right there. Cool. That makes it easy. Now I just have to take the speedometer cable off. Perhaps I should have done that before I got this out of the way. Now I did get new bushings for this here. Yeah, I've got new bushings for this. So I'll put them in. Those ones look pretty good, but I have a new one, so I might as well put them in. And that thing there looks all right. So, and there are no leaks in the transmission at this time. We'll just see if I've, like, the only thing that likely a seal in behind this thing here for holding on the, whatever you call that thing. What is that called? Speedometer cable. Then it might be good for another go at trying to lift it. We'll just see how we make out. There, I think I'm ready to give it another old heave-ho here. This is free. Feels pretty free. I've got that strap holding that on there. Bunch of water coming out of the motor somewhere when I tilt it, so that'll be a messy thing. Excuse me. So I'll give it a go, see what I can do without breaking anything, hey? Try to not break anything. Yeah, so there. It's coming out slowly but surely. I didn't, not the most graceful removal in the world, I don't think, but it is coming up. Now, I'll have to, it wasn't coming up, it was bringing the car with it because one bolt here was holding that motor mount on, but I was able to unscrew it there, so that, I'll have to repair that motor mount now. Smart me. Nothing like breaking a few things. Then I did heard something snap somewhere. I don't know what it was. But I'll just keep on lifting it and see if I can get it up high enough that I can move the car back or get the car off these lift things. Anyhow, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't have to go much farther up. Don't know how I'm gonna get it back in there. Like getting it out of it was a struggle. I don't know how I'm gonna get it back in, but I guess we'll figure it out when the time comes. It'll be maybe I'll get some help and have two people on it, and I'll put it in at a bit better angle than that when I lift it. Yeah, you can see here how I missed that bolt there. I saw the bolt and I didn't think it was attached. What a smart guy I am, eh? Anyway, that came apart, so that's all right. Didn't break anything too badly. And I think the snapping noise was up here somewhere, just a piece of plastic got caught somewhere. Anyway, that's all. I've got like another 8 inches to go up, and then I might be able to swing it over the front of this and then get the car pushed back out of the way. Pushed back there out of the way. We hope. We'll see. Oh boy, there, that's officially out. Now I'll see if I can get it down to the ground safely without getting... I've been very careful not to get my legs or anything underneath the suspended load, because that would hurt. But it seems to be holding all right up there. And the car is exceptionally light now. All there is a starter and it won't start. Wonder why. Hey. Okay. So I'll get this thing down, and then I think that's pretty near the end of the day today. I'll see about cutting a couple of boards or something to help lay it down right on one of these, on 2 of these, and then I can move it around a bit. Yeah, so that was all pretty slow moving until now. And now, get this focused right. Yeah. So now I'll just finish letting it down. I'm letting it down on a couple of things there, but I'll come over later and point it downward more. There, it's all down. So if I do this again ever, I'd take the distributor out away from it, and I don't think I heard anything here, but that could have been put on later after it's on the car. So it seems to be what a monster, hey? And it looks like the only way to get it apart is at the right at the bell housing there. So I'm going to rejig it, and I'll bring it up a little bit, and then make it so it's level and see if I can get that transmission off of it. Anyway, that's tomorrow, because it's quitting time today. Enough of that. 5:17 already, right? Okay. See you later. Yeah, here I am. That's on the Triumph TR7. Anyway, I'm going to roll this out of here. I'll pick up some of this stuff down below and roll this over to the other side. I'll get let's see, I'll have a plan. Do I have a plan? Maybe. Ask the dog nicely to move. But I've got the Porsche sitting right there. Can you see that? Yeah, right there is the Porsche. And I had the BMW sitting here. I've moved it out. I'm going to move the Porsche out of here, and I'll roll the Triumph right into that spot there again, right there, right there, and then I'll this can go in there after I move that golf cart with a flat tire. Anyway, but we'll get there. Okay, start moving stuff. Maybe I'll just see how the Porsche does. See if it starts up, right? Been sitting here for a few days. I think I did solve the problem where it was losing its charge. Oh boy. Way down here. What the? Like way down here. Oh yeah, now you gotta get my leg in. You gotta get your legs in and then pull the seat forward so you can reach the pedals. It's a real... Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work, right? Starts right up. Fasten your seatbelt, Arnie. Then I'll pull it out and just put it in the driveway for a while. See how things work out here. Yeah, not a bad looking menagerie there. Here's the Porsche, the BMW, and the VW van. The birds like the VW van right there. Anyway, carry on. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, when I was pulling stuff out of there, I did take the prop shaft, which would be, in North America we call them a drive shaft, but over in England they call them a prop shaft. Maybe that's because was England a seafaring nation, right? Anyway, there we go. So the prop shaft, take that out, it makes life easier. There's just 4 bolts at the front, 4 bolts at the back. Yeah, so empty in here. That was very easy. Like a little bit of a downslope here, so it sort of pushed itself and then straightened it out to go into here. It doesn't weigh hardly anything with the motor in it. It weighs even less without a motor in it. So there, that's pretty simple. Okay, now have to find my motor stand. I wonder where I put that. It's in here somewhere. There it is, right there. I'll get that over and see about getting the transmission and stuff off the motor. Yeah, so I was ready for a fight, but no fight ensued. I was gonna, film taking it off, but then I got it down and undid the two little bolts that I had holding it, and it all just came apart. And this is on. This can roll around, so that's good. And in here, I'm happy to report that throwout bearing's in excellent shape, and all that stuff there is seemingly to be okay. I do have a new one of these poles, but I don't think I need it. Works fine. I won't screw with something that works fine. And then looks like the clutch might be okay, because these are in pretty far anyhow, and there's no, let me just see. If they're worn out, you can feel a lip on there, but there's nothing there, so I think we're okay for that. The pressure plate's okay. So, and the way that, they're not out farther, that means that the clutch plate is likely pretty good. Anyway, let me roll this out of the way, and then I'll get that pressure plate off and maybe get the flywheel off. Then I can get it on the motor stand. See what happens. Yeah, so I'm gonna loosen this off in kind of an order. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. See if, I don't want to damage anything. Yeah, so 1/8 inch drive, got to be thin around the edges there to catch that. Yeah, so I put a white mark there just to show where they were lined up before. And another thing holding it there somewhere. Am I missing one? No, it should come off. There, I got that screwdriver across there to hold that from turning. And is that right? Can you see that? It's got lots of points on the nuts and bolts there. Do I need more light here? Hang on. Yeah, so I've just just screwed them in a little bit there so that when this comes off, it's not going to come flying off, I hope. Okay, that's off. These can go, well, there's inside there's a roller of needle bearings. I'll worry about that later. And the seal seems to be fine, right? Too bad. Oh well, I have to take this plate off. How's it? Hold on. A bolt there, a bolt there, a bolt there, and a bolt there. Allen key stuff. And these are a couple of things that go in there. I'll see if they come out next. Well, these things here had Loctite on them, and you could tell. So I don't know if I'm the first guy in here, or the second guy in here, or the 10th guy in here. This whole bucket is full of stuff from the exterior. I'll have another bucket from stuff from the interior. Then I can usually figure out what goes where later. Yeah, so these are 3/16, and I never ever hit these with a impact wrench because they'll just strip. Yeah, I'll just let that soak for a few minutes. I think it'll come off with a bit of those two bolts at the top are holding it. So, and and then there's a bunch of markers that hold it together too. Anyway, I'll get to it in a few minutes. Yeah, so that plate does not want to come off at this time. And I don't know that I really have to get it off at this time or ever, because I can sort of work around it, I think. So it can maybe just stay there and that'll be fine. I'm scared. I don't want to break something, right? Any worse than it's broken. Anyway, so what I'll do now is I'll get it up and I'll put those Allen screws back into there, and that'll hold that plate tight. Then I'll get it onto the motor stand, which is sitting over there. Okay. Yeah, so it's on the motor mount here, I hope. These ones here are pretty strong. These two here are pretty, like all this stuff here is real strong. These ones here, they kind of just, they're just place keepers. So anyway, first time I ever used this thing, I tried leaving it in here and then putting it on with the motor in the air. Oh boy, that was dumb. But then I learned that you take it out of there and put it on the motor and then slide this into it, right? Boy, I'm a smart guy sometimes. Anyhow, I'll let it down and put some pressure on it and see what happens. We'll just watch and see if it falls to the earth without yeah, see what happens here. Yeah, there, I'll dump the oil out of it, seeing as it's half dumped out already, and then I'll clean up here a bit, take the oil filter off, and take the top off, start taking things apart. Like the heads on these motors are notoriously hard to get off the car, so I'll think about that for a little while. I may not even, I may just pull everything down from down below, take the bottom off, pull everything down, and then see what, I can take all the pistons out, take the crankshaft out, and all that kind of stuff. I think I can reach everything. Yeah, I can reach it all from in here. So we'll just see what happens. Oops, there. Anyway, I'll get to work at it. Yeah, there I drained the oil and clean up on aisle 5, right? Messy, messy. Anyway, the oil's out of it. I took the oil filter off, emptied it, and then I put it back on just to keep it from getting bashed, right? So now, what will I do next? I think next I might just get some of the weight off it here, like these bits here. Upper manifold, or intake manifold, exhaust manifold. Take spark plugs out. I think they're all loose anyhow. Take this cover off. I'll get a box, put stuff in. Okay, going to find a box. Yeah, now there's, whoops, where am I? That stuff's all off. I think you can take this whole car apart with a 1/2-inch wrench. So far anyhow. Alternator's off. I haven't taken that off yet. I'll take that off soon. But this is, that rolls nicely. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the water pump. It was working fine. And there's an O-ring on here. That looks in good shape. I think it hasn't been too long since it was, mile-wise, it hasn't been too long since it was taken apart. But age-wise, it's likely it was sitting for quite a while. And it did get a bunch of water into the motor from, rainwater came into it somehow or other. Anyhow, don't know how. Maybe just through here, likely this was sitting open. I don't know. Anyhow, when I first took it apart, this is rusty inside, so that was a clue, right? So now next is to, these are the head bolts here. The way it works, and then it comes out on an angle. So, I don't know what will happen now, but we'll see. I'll take off the manifold here, and then we'll go into the next step. Yeah, so now here, this is the tappet. See, those are the tappets underneath there, all the way along here. That tappet blew to smithereens, so there's no compression on this cylinder, and there was no compression on this cylinder, and something catastrophic happened in there, right? So I guess I'll take the next off camshaft. Camshaft doesn't look like it was damaged. Oh, this one end was a bit, yeah, that's crashed. So I'll pull the camshaft off and then see what's next. So all these are numbered. There's no number in this one, but this one here is number 4. Can you see the number there? And the number is this way. This one here, don't know how to tell which way to go with it, but I guess I'll have to, I'll take a look when I get it off and see if anything looks like it might be something. Yeah, so sadly that camshaft is garbage, which is too bad. because it's all in pretty good shape, except for where it got bashed down here. Anyway, we'll just put it in there. And the timing chain sort of like it goes anyhow, goes into that holder to hold it up. Then these things, I don't know how to get them out of there. I think this head is pretty well had it. I don't think there's much coming back from that. We'll see. Well, we'll just keep investigating. There's what's left of the tappet. Or, yeah, I guess it's called the tappet, is it? Yeah, so that valve didn't return. This valve didn't return. This valve didn't return. This one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. So, whatever happened, that's why there's no compression in this, because that valve there is hanging down. This valve here is hanging down, and that valve there is hanging down. So, they're likely off, broken off, or, oh, I don't know what's in there. We'll find out soon. Well, someday. Yeah, I think I found well, here, this one was jammed in there, but I did get it out. But you see all that, there's corrosion on that. So it likely overheated, jammed, and this one here likely did the same thing, bit of corrosion on it. There was likely some water in there. So I really should have taken it apart at the top end here when I had it in the earlier, and then cleaned that stuff up. Likely would have saved that, but oh well, I'm not that smart, I guess. These are all okay. That one there is still jammed in there, that one. Anyway, we'll see what's next on the list here. I'll put these in order here. Not that it really matters, because I don't think it's going to be much good, this head, but I'll put them in order anyhow. Yeah, so how do you make sure you get these on the right way? It won't allow you to put them on the wrong way. There's one, that one's higher than that one, so it's the same inside here, so it has to go that way right there. So as long as you got the numbers right, you're good. That goes down there all the way, but if you turn it this way, it won't go down all the way. It just stops because it can't get all the way down. Good. Okay, so that solves that little dilemma. Yeah, so I turned the motor over, and that way, this thing here fell out of it. That's the drive for the oil pump. So you gotta, that goes back in later. We'll see. Yeah, this is the oil pickup here, right? I wonder if it picks up anything. Yeah, that would be the only, everything else on the whole car is a ½ inch. Those are 7/16. Well, I'll see if I can get them off, and I'll get that off of there. I wonder if it's not sucking air, because that should be tighter than that, eh? We'll check into that. Anyhow, later. Maybe that was a contributing factor to the failures. There is some yucco in the bottom of the oil pan there, but nothing serious. And the pistons all look like, which one would be bashed? That one here should have I don't know if it's got a hole in it or not. All looks so nice and clean from this end. I'll see if I can get the, don't know what happens. If I can get the crankshaft out. I think I can get the crankshaft out, yeah. From this side, without taking the head off. Yeah, pretty sure I can do that. Anyway, we'll work on that. Oh, where am I? Here. So this thing here, it's got a great big 1.25 or 1.5 inch. What size? What size did I use to pull that off? I wonder. This great big thing here. What is it? 1.5 inch socket on a ½ inch drive, right? And it wasn't in there that tight anyhow. Then I spent another half hour getting a puller rigged up, and it pulled off easier than pie. So, you know, oh well. I could have just pulled it off without a puller. Now I'll take out all these bolts along here, here and here, and everywhere, and see if I can take that cover off. That'll be the next step. And then the back cover's got to come off sometime. So that'll be the next step after that. Okay, whoever was last one didn't bother putting a bolt right in that hole there for some reason. Must have either forgotten it or lost it. Didn't leak, but that's not a big deal. So now I'll put this with my parts box. That parts box is likely going to get pretty heavy now. So now there's kind of an inverted washer here, and then that I'll take this tensioner off of there. The chain's loose anyhow because everything up there is loose. That goes with the big bolt, right? Now I think that was with the tension side out. So now I'll get this chain tensioner off of here. That's not holding anything. And this is a jack. What do you call that? That's a jack. Anyway. Henry's showed me how to get that back on there properly. Yeah, so whoever put it together last had the chain going on the wrong side of the guide. See that? Not supposed to be on the metal there, it's supposed to be on that. Oh dear. Like, I guess, what the hell, eh? Can't do anything about that. Interesting. I got the whole other side to wear off now. Now I just take it off of here. And there it is. Likely need a new one of them anyhow, but interesting. And this jack shaft, that's what that is. That's what drives the oil pump, and it drives the water pump, and also drives the distributor. Now this sprocket should just come off of there. Don't know if I need to put a puller on that. I'll see. Yeah, there's the sprocket. Now it's not in bad shape. I just put a slide hammer on there and pulled it off. I've got a slide hammer down there. So that's out. Now what else? There's the keyway thing, whatever you call that. I've been told what it's called a number of times, but you know how often I just don't ever remember. And then the other end, but I think I'm pretty near done. No, I got a time. In another few minutes to go. I'll pull this. And then there's two spacers there. So there's two shims there for end play, I'm pretty sure. We'll have to check that later as we go along. But I'll take the crankshaft out, pull the pistons out and see if there's damage on them. And then we'll go from there and see what I have to do. Yeah, that's off now. I wonder if I can just undo the bits for. Wonder if I can undo the bits for the crankshaft and just pull the whole thing out of there with pistons and everything. Maybe. We'll see. If not, I'll just go backwards. Yeah, they were on pretty tight. So here they're marked number 1, 2, 3, 4. No number on this one. I wonder how you tell which way it goes. Anyhow, with the numbers down, this one here seems to be with this thing down. Now I'll remember that later, maybe. Hey, who knows? Anyway, numbers this way. Yeah, I got them all loosened off. So number 1 has some scoring on it, or this end. Yeah, number 1. Number 2, just like a brand new bearing. Number 3, a little bit worn, but not much. Number 4, a little bit of scoring, but not much. Number 5, a little bit of wear, but not bad. So now, let's see if I can pull everything out with it. Who knows, eh? Yeah, is that called a journal there? I don't know. Hey, they look pretty good. Anyhow, I've pulled it out some. There's that spacer washer in there. It goes right in here somewhere, which I'll figure out later. Anyhow, can't seem to pull the pistons out at the same time, so I'll just take them apart here and then take the crankshaft out of the way and then start pulling pistons. So that'll be next on the list. Yeah, so I've got all the nuts off, and that looks, I don't know if that's clean or dirty. Not very shiny. Usually they're fairly shiny. Oh, that one's in good shape. So that's and this is the way they go on, right? Oh. And I'll put them together on the pistons before that one's in good shape. Still see the cross hatching on that. Number 3. This one's the same as the first one. A little bit miscolored or something, I don't know. And I think there's numbers somewhere on them. Yeah, there's can hardly see it, but there's a 4 down there. And I think that the piston will have a 4 on it, and you have to match the numbers. Now I'll see if I can get this. I'll put you in you're in the vise. You have a vise. Want to be right around there somewhere? Yeah. Okay. See if this crank will come out of here now. Hang on there. How easy is that, eh? A couple of bearings go. There. One crankshaft. Seems to be in pretty good shape. I'll measure it all up and just see. Put it over here now. Now I'll see if I can get the pistons out. Nope. Nope, pistons have to come out the top. Well, that's sad. Oh well. Yeah, there we go. That's all for this week. It's I'll have to come back next week and see what happens. Long ordeal to get the head off this, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it all, and come on back again next time. See you then. Yeah, here I am, May 22nd, 2024. Anyhow, it's another nice day today. A little bit breezy. Yesterday was a scorcher. All the red-winged blackbirds are doing red-winged blackbird stuff. They must have babies on the nest because they make lots of noise. There's a duck out there right in the middle of the pond. And there might be a bit of wind noise. I'm not sure. Because it's one of those windy days. Offshore breeze, so there's no big waves coming in or anything like that. And the beach looks pretty nice. There you go. See you later.